How's it going, guys? This probably won't be up till a few hours from now. It's like 7 a.m. I haven't slept. But odd that I decided to do this remake before touching the rest of the series and the original and everything, which I was never really a huge fan of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre series. Besides, of course, the original and Texas Chainsaw 2 was my favorite in the series. But everything after that, I mean, the third one's all right. For some reason, when I was younger, I really liked the Next Generation. I don't care for it nowadays, and all the ones after this remake are very, very hit or miss for me. But speaking of horror remakes, I think this is one of the best remakes from the 2000s onward, like without a doubt. And especially of the main like slasher franchises, the big ones from the 80s and 70s and everything. Child's Play I thought was terrible. The remake, did not care for it at all. The Nightmare on Elm Street remake, did not care for that at all. The Friday remake is all right. It's nothing great. This is the best remake of all of those major franchises. We don't have a Scream remake, which thank fucking God. That series just has to fucking end, bro. Like, anyone who's watched my channel a little bit knows how I feel about Scream. Just end it already, please. And there goes like a bunch of click-offs right now. But like, come on. I'm not getting into it. But 2003's The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, directed by Marcus Nispel. And I think it's interesting that he directed the Friday the 13th remake 6 years after this, which just, like I said, was just decent. It's nothing great. Nowhere near as great this movie is. Like, I absolutely love this movie. And I think a lot of it has to do with we have Hooper and Henkel that returned for this movie. We have the same cinematographer from the first movie. And just the performances in this movie with Arlie Ermy is fucking splendid in this movie. And Jessica Biel does a great job. Like, she's absolutely gorgeous in this. She's so distracting. Like, she is so distracting in this movie with her tight jeans and her just white tight shirt with the knot in it to show her belly off. And there's no way that knot stayed intact throughout all the events in this movie. There's no way. Like, there's absolutely no chance that knot didn't come undone throughout all the running around and struggles with Leatherface and all of that. No way. But then we have John Larroquette returning with the opening narration, which has to be one of the most iconic opening narrations to a movie. Like, next to like Star Wars and a few others I can't even think of right now. But just that whole opening. And just the events of that day led to the discovery of what was one of the most bizarre crimes in the annals of American history, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Like, iconic, man. Like, absolutely. And we have Eric Learson in here, which I've said many times on here. I adore Book of Shadows, Blair Witch 2, much more than the original Blair Witch Project. It's one of my guilty pleasure movies, and she's in that, and it's great to see her in here. And Jonathan Tucker, I think, gives the best performance of all the group of friends in this movie. Only person that I think gives a better performance is Arlie Ermy, which isn't really surprising. And I like how they changed up the beginning instead of having the hitchhiker from the family, they have just the girl on the side of the road that's just been through presumably the same shit that these people are about to go through. And Erica makes a comment when they're stopping to talk to the girl on the side of the road, and Erin's hanging her head out the window and asking if she's all right and everything. And Pepper's her name, right? Yeah, Pepper. She makes a comment when she's like, you can get killed doing that. Like, talking to a stranger on the side of the road. She was just hitchhiking like the day before, and they picked her up. So that was always weird to me, that you're going to get killed, what, talking to someone on the side of the road or picking up a hitchhiker or anything like that? She was hitching a day ago. And then one of the other guys makes a comment of like, this is why you don't pick up hitchhikers or something like that. Again, just picked Pepper up like a day ago. But the whole shot of when she shoots herself, and just when you see them all screaming, and then the camera pans through the hole in her head, then her head falls back, and they're screaming bloody murder. That is such a great shot, amazing shot. Like I mean, I could figure out how they did it, but like just the fact of just the style to that shot, I absolutely adore that. So cool. And their reactions after that is great. Like with Erica almost like puking. I keep saying Erica because she's so fucking ingrained in me as Erica from Blair Witch 2. But Pepper, like when she's puking and then she sees like she has brains on her and she's freaking out, and Jessica Biel, I keep calling them by their real names. Erin is looking at the body, and Kemper is like, I've never seen anyone die before, and Morgan says, yeah, most people aren't supposed to. Like, all their reactions are great in this movie. And then they're down there for the Lynyrd Skynyrd concert they're driving to, and they picked up 2 pounds of pot that's stuffed in like a alpaca piñata, and they throw it into the field to get rid of it. I mean, it's 2 pounds of pot in 1973. You do not want to get caught with that, especially down in Texas, like in the Bible Belt and shit like that. Last thing you want. But couldn't they have just like put it by like a landmark, like a tree on the road, or look at a mile marker, and then just picked it up later? Like once the whole situation was done with? I don't know. I always thought of that. Like, didn't really have to just toss it away. You could have just called the sheriff and had everything resolved and then go pick it up. Obviously, that's not what happens because they couldn't predict that any of this was going to happen to them. But in that moment, that's what I'd be saying. I said, just leave it here. We'll pick it up later. You're done. Bob's your uncle. But again, they have no clue what's about to happen to them. And we get line that we see in so many movies where the person is just like, there is no way I'm doing this, and then it just cuts and they're doing it. When Pepper is like, I tell you one thing, there's absolutely no way I'm getting back in that van. And then the next shot is them all in the van driving away. Funny. Like, that works for me in some movies, and then it's just very tiring in other movies because it's used so much. But it works for me here. And I love Morgan's line when he says, how often do girls just blow their heads off in this shithole town? Like, that's fucking funny. And I don't know, from the look of that town and the people that are living there, seems like it probably happens pretty often. They should all move. Go move to a different town. Because it seems like that type of shit happens pretty often here. The whole dilemma of dumping her body. Now, this is going to sound like really cold-hearted, but I'm with the guys on this. Like, I know it sounds like messed up, like a lot, but you pick up this girl on the side of the road trying to help her, and she blows her fucking brains out in the back of your van. Then just when the sheriff, when they say he's busy and he's over at at the meatpacking place or whatever, wherever he's at, and even Kemper, one of them, makes a comment and says like, if the sheriff doesn't give a fuck, then like, why should we? And I agree, I really do. Like I said, as fucked up as it is, just get rid of it. Get rid of the body. Like, I don't know. It's just what I would think I would do in that situation. Of course, you can't say for sure what you would do in a situation like this. And you can't distance yourself really that much from, what happens afterwards. Like, what happens in this movie. So you can't really say what you would do in that situation, but I don't know, man. Like, of course, like I said, like if I was in the actual predicament like that, I would be thinking much, much harder. But I'm with them. Like, you didn't ask for any of this. You tried to help this woman. The sheriff don't give a fuck. It doesn't seem like the woman at the gas station or the store that they stop in to call the sheriff gives a shit. Like, no one gives a fuck about this girl who blew her brains out in your van. just dump her. Or just not even dump her. I mean, that sounds terrible, but like drop her off at the fucking sheriff's station and leave. Just something. Like, there's no way I'd stick around. Especially after some of the things that they see after this. And we see Jedediah, the little kid who played Aiden in The Ring 2, and this kid could never look normal in a movie. This kid always looks like a fucking, like a creepy alien child. Like, I've never seen this kid in a movie. My camera's stuttering a little bit. Ghosts. Fucking, I've said many times on here. Anything that goes slightly wrong on this channel, I can just make up on the spot some bullshit that'll explain it away, and that's it. So, ghosts, distortion, all that stuff. And yeah, but that kid could never look normal. Every film that I see him in, he looks dead, or like pale as can be, or just like one of them calls him like a little mutant. Like, I don't know, man. Like, I've never seen him look normal in a movie. And then we get a possum jump scare, which, hey, is better than the silverback gorilla jump scare we get in all these fucking movies. You don't see possum jump scares too often, so that was a little change up that was kind of neat. And then this kid can't just say to them, listen, my family's fucking crazy. They're murderers. You got to get out of here right now. I mean, we'd have no movie, yeah. But like, in real life, he couldn't just say that. He tries saving them later. So like, you know he's not an evil fuck like his family is. He can't just tell them, like, listen, you don't want to meet my family. And like, you got to get out of here right now. Like, just get in that van and drive away. Oh, thanks, kid. And then they'd all be enjoying themselves at Lynyrd Skynyrd's concert. But I don't know. Like I said, we'd have no movie. At any time that you see a doll or multiple dolls pinned or hanging from a house or a building or anything like that, you turn right around and you leave. Like, if there's anything I've learned from horror movies and my whole life watching them, any house that has dolls pinned to it or hanging from it, not a house you want to be around. No normal people are living there. Like, look at House of a Thousand Corpses, when Baby brings, what's his name fucking in that movie? Bill. When he brings Bill to the house, and there's just dolls all over the place, and she even makes a comment that says, oh, I used to take these dolls and just pin them up against the wall and stuff. Yeah, 180 backwards, like, away from there immediately. And speaking of, like, zombie with House of a Thousand Corpses, I always thought it was interesting that he ended up remaking Halloween. Like, you would think of all the major franchises for him to remake, it would be the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. But I don't, after having this remake the way it is and how much I love this remake, I don't think I'd want to see a remake by Zombie, especially after his last few movies. But I'm not getting into Zombie. And the name change from Sawyer to Hewitt, I don't know why they changed the name. I mean, I guess just to, I mean, is that an homage to something, Hewitt, that I don't know about? Someone let me know if they know of why they changed the name, besides just changing the name just for the sake of it. But I mean, they're the Sawyers, like, always been the Sawyers, and now they're the Hewitts. So I don't know if it was just like a, let's just change the name to separate this from the original series. Probably just something like that. And the house looks great in this. Like, again, that is a house that you would never go to, like, at all, like, for any type of help in any way, shape, or form. And it looks really good, though, that house. It looks creepy as shit. And then Arlie Ermy as the sheriff, his performance in this movie is just fantastic. Like, I've always loved him. Just from Full Metal Jacket by Stanley Kubrick and everything else that he's been in. This guy has been in so many movies, and he is he was a sergeant in the army, and he's a decorated war hero. And if there's anyone that deserves, I don't want to say deserves, but that would be typecast in a certain type of roles in the movies that he's in. It's this guy. Like, he's always, for the most part, playing an evil fucking or menacing sergeant or army guy or a cop, a police officer, like in so many movies that he's in. And I mean, it makes sense with his background and everything. And he is so intimidating in this movie. He is so scary. He is so menacing. Like, this is just someone you do not want to fuck with. And he plays the role so well in this. Like, best performance in the movie. Then Jonathan Tucker as Morgan, like, for sure. And just that whole situation of having a sheriff show up and then wrapping the body in plastic, a saran wrap, and then making them help wrap the body up. And then just his comments of, oh, she's wet down there. Like, what have you guys been doing with this body? And like, all of that. Again, they're in this traumatic situation. Like, they just saw a girl blow her head off. So, of course, like, this is just me having fun with all the situations and decisions that they could have made here. After that, when he leaves with the body, that's it. That's the time to go. It's time to get the fuck out of there. Like, if you didn't think that from the things before that happened, or the things that you saw, right then and there is the time to leave. Like, get the fuck out. I get it. I get Kemper is missing, and that's Erin's boyfriend, and there's no way she's gonna leave him. I'd fucking leave him. Again, as mean-spirited as that sounds, send for help from the next town over. I mean, yeah, he'd be dead by then. But still, like, it's one person against the whole group being brutally fucking massacred. That's the time to leave. No one in their right mind has a run-in with a sheriff like this. And we know he's not even a sheriff from the next movie, from the beginning. And sticks around after that and doesn't think that this is the most odd situation with a police officer or a sheriff ever. That this guy's sadistic. And then just the comment that he makes when Pepper says to him that this just feels so wrong. And he's like, don't you give me no lip. He's like, I have more respect for a dead body than anybody else in this town. Then they're putting the body in his car. And he's like, get that disgusting piece of shit out of my car. Put it in the trunk. What's wrong with you guys? That's fucking hilarious, man. And Leatherface looks terrifying in this movie. And he is humongous. Like, he is big in this movie. And he just looks so threatening and so terrifying. Like, he looks so good in this movie, and the way that they shoot, like, all the scenes with him and the shots of him, like, awesome. He looks so great in this. I said that already. I love with the old guy, I forget his name, with the missing his legs that the sheriff cut off in the beginning. I love when they go back to the house, Erin and Andy looking for Kemper, and then he's just banging on the floor with his cane and saying, bring it, bring it. And he keeps banging on the floor with his cane and to get Leatherface out there. That's such an awesome scene. Really, really cool. Then Andy getting his legs sawn off looks great. Like, that looks so fucking good with his legs just missing, and he just lifts his leg up and it's just a stump and he's holding it, and then he gets brought down to the basement and he gets hung on the meat hook, and Leatherface takes the salt and packs it onto the fucking stub of his leg and then wraps it in the meat fucking wrapping paper or whatever the fuck it is. Like, awesome. That whole sequence is so good. And oh yeah, and then like when Leatherface is carrying Andy downstairs before all that, and his fingernails, when he's scratching the walls, like trying to hold on, and his fingernails just tear off. Oh, man. There's not much in movies that can make me squirm a bit or wince. I can watch people be fucking brutally murdered in every way imaginable. Like I always say, slashers are my favorite genre of horror. But something about fingernails, man, just gets me. Something about it, and the way that they shoot that little fucking detail of his fingernails being scraped off against the wall, I fucking go, oh, like every single time I see this movie. Like that is so fucking, I don't know, it just gets me. Like something with fingernails. Like I can watch all the fucking Fulci movies with eyeball gags and everything like that. It doesn't fucking affect me at all. Fingernails, I don't know, man. There's something about that, and especially this movie. Just that scene with him with the fingernails is fucking, I don't know. That's fucking horrible. And then the whole scene with Morgan and the sheriff in the van, recreating the what happened to the girl. It's my favorite scene in the movie. Like 100%. Like I said, both of them give the best performances in this movie, and just the way the two of them play off each other, and just Arlie Ermey's acting in the scene, man, and Tucker's acting in this scene with his fucking lips spasming and like unreal the acting in that scene, and just having him like, oh, was she sitting over there? Like, no, that doesn't line up with the broken window. So move over, and he has to move her brains and stuff. Then just in this situation by now, I mean, you should know from the first encounter with this sheriff that something is so fucking wrong. But in this situation, when you have a sheriff that's making you recreate what happened and giving you a gun to stick in your mouth to show, come on, man, like this is fucking wrong in every single way. And just the fact that Morgan actually goes to kill him is very interesting. Like I said in I think the last video on Sleepaway. See how I keep wanting to say Sleepaway Camp when I want to say Slumber Party? Slumber Party Massacre video is one of those. I mentioned I have family members, ex-cops, and internal affairs and stuff like that. You even lay a finger on a cop, you're done. Like that's it. Like cops are one of the biggest group, band of brothers that they will always stand up for each other. You fuck with a cop, you're fucking with all the cops, and your life is a living hell. You kill a cop, your life is over. Like not even just prison forever. Even when you get to prison and you're in prison, you will be fucked with by every guard in that prison. Your life will be a living hell the rest of your life in prison if you don't get executed. Like your life's done forever. And just the fact that he pulls the trigger and realizes how fucked up this guy is and how fucked up this situation is, good for him, man. Like I would do the same thing in that situation. Are you serious? After the way he's been treating these people and the way he's talking and the comments he's making and the things he's making them do, get the fuck out of here. This guy would get a bullet to the face. But unfortunately, I mean, that bullet doesn't exist. So that gun is empty. Which again, like nitpicking, but like, why would you think a cop would hand you a loaded gun that you can just turn on him and shoot him at any second? Again, like nitpicking, and he's in such a traumatic situation that he's not thinking straight at all. Like, just the way his lip is fucking spasming. Like, the way he fucking portrays his fear in that scene is incredible. Like, it's my favorite scene in the movie. Like I said, unbelievable stuff. And let's see here. Then the car ride with the two of them. With him talking about where you guys were headed. And he said the Skinner concert. And he's like, hell, I like Skinner. We got something in common. And he's, what are you going to do with the tickets? And he offers it to him. He's like, is that bribery? Dude, this fucking sheriff, man. Arlie Ermey is fucking amazing. And then he just takes the fucking bottle and fucking smashes it in Morgan's face. He loses his teeth. And then he pulls out his fake teeth, the sheriff. He's like, hey, we got something else in common. Like that whole scene, too, is just great. Any time that the two of them are on screen together is just excellent. So great to see. And this movie looks beautiful. Like the cinematography and just the way it's shot, like it's such a good looking film. Like they really made a great decision on bringing the original cinematographer from the original movie in to do this movie too, because it looks so good. Like it's such a great looking movie. Then we get Erin running into the trailer with Discount Anne Heche and the Twin Peaksy lynch woman. I don't know, everything. Every time I see this movie, there's something about that fat woman in there with Discount Anne Heche that just reminds me of Lynch. which is funny because you'll find out later in the day why. But always reminds me of something out of a Lynch film or Twin Peaks. Just like it's shot so surreal, like it, and her lines, the way that this woman talks, and just the comments that she makes. Like I don't know, it's something about it just reminds me of something out of a Lynch film. Like every single time, I always refer to her as like the Twin Peaks woman. Kind of reminds me of what the fuck's her name? Any Twin Peaks fans or Lynch fans, you know what I'm talking about. But the waitress at the Double R, like the German waitress who comes in and she's always giggling and stuff like that, like randomly, like she reminds me of her for some reason. I don't know. Every single time. And then they say that Leatherface had a skin disease that started when he was a boy. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, because I just watched the beginning, like 2 months ago or something like that. Don't they mention in that movie that he was born with the skin deformity? Don't they say that? That he was born with it? Like he's had it since birth? Because here, like she says, like it started when he was a boy. So that doesn't make sense. Unless I'm misremembering. So, I mean, if someone has the answer to that, let me know and refresh my memory. Anytime someone keeps telling you to finish your drink that they prepared for you, you're getting fucking drugged or poisoned. Like every time. There is no one on this planet who cares about you that much, especially some stranger who looks the way that Discount Anne Heche looks in this movie, in this trailer, in this whole town, with everything you've been through. There's no one on the planet who cares that much if you finish a drink that they made for you or keep sipping their tea, unless they're fucking drugging you. Like every time. Like that's how you survive. This whole video is a survival guide on the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. If you ever find yourself in a situation identical to this, take all of this advice. This is what you do. You never fucking take a sip of something from some strange ass woman, with the Twin Peaks woman in the room too. And then she hears the phone ring while she's starting to feel the effects of the drug, and then she sees her with the baby, and she's like, "That's not your baby. You stole her." Then awesome stuff. And then when she wakes up in the house with the sheriff and the wife and everything, and she says, like, "Does anyone care about me and my boy?" Not really. No, I don't think anybody cares about this woman and Leatherface, or the sheriff, or anyone in this cannibalistic family. I don't. Like I could say right now, like I said it right to the screen when I was rewatching it. Anyone care about me and my boy? No, not really. And that's why you're probably in the situation and live the lifestyle that you do, because no one gives a fuck about you guys. So you have to resort to killing people and eating them and shit. And then Erin having to kill Andy, man, that sucks. Like that is such a hard thing to do. Like, I mean, I've never done it, but I can imagine that has got to be so hard to have to. But I get it, and I would absolutely do it. Like, if one of my friends was hanging there on a meat hook, missing his leg, and just slowly dying, or you know what's going to happen to him after the shit you've seen, all they'd have to say once is, "Kill me. Just end this. Like, I can't take this anymore." And I'd be 100%. I'd be like, "Are you sure this is what you want?" "Yes." "Okay." And I would just take care of it. Just to end their suffering. And just seeing the way that she stabs him and falls to his feet. And just saying, "Please forgive me," as his blood's raining down on her. Like, that's a great scene too, man. Like, you could feel her pain in that. Like, you can just feel her emotion, and just really, really good performance. And why do they have a piano? Like, his feet are hitting the piano and stuff while he's hanging there, which is cool shots. But there is no way, like, does anyone in this family even remotely look like somebody who would be playing the piano? No. Like, none of these fucking people play the piano. So I don't know why they have a piano. Like, yeah, you can argue maybe that one of their victims in the past or something. They had this piano and they decided, fuck it, take it with us. Why? I don't know. But just picturing Leatherface down in his little cellar there, like playing a fucking jazz tune on the piano while he's like sewing up a fucking mask and everything. That's hilarious. Like, absolutely hilarious. Oh, and then seeing your significant other's dead skin mask on a fucking chainsaw wielding maniac, that's fucking horrifying. Like, can you imagine? Like, that is so fucking horrifying. Seeing your lover's face on top of someone else's face. That has got to be fucking so scary and so disgusting. And just the thoughts that must be running through her head when she sees that. And it's such a great shot. Like, when you just see Kemper's face on Leatherface, what a great shot that is. And Leatherface, when he's chasing Erin, Morgan, and Jedediah, like through the little, whatever it is, hallway and stuff with the light shining through the gaps in the wood. Really cool. I love the way they shot that scene. And then Morgan getting sawed in the nuts, that's gotta be the worst way to go. Gotta be. Like, burning to death sucks, I'm sure. Drowning, gotta be terrible also. Getting sawed with a chainsaw anywhere has gotta be fucking terrible. Like, one of the worst ways to go. But any guy who's been kicked in the nuts knows how painful that is. Getting a chainsaw fucking sawed up into your genitals. That's gotta be the most painful way to die. Like, absolutely. Like, are you serious? Like, that's gotta be so painful. And I feel so bad for Morgan in that scene. Like, Jesus Christ, man. Then this car just drives off. Like, Erin runs in the road and she's banging on the car, like, help me, help me. The car just fucking leaves. Like, come on, man. Like, no one would just stop and help this girl. I mean, I could see certain reasons why you don't want to get involved. I mean, you pick her up, she might blow her brains out in the back of your car. Like, just like what happens to them in the beginning of this movie. So, like, I could see why people would just drive off. But really, like, if that was me, I'd stop in a heartbeat. Like, you see this young woman who's obviously in huge amount of distress and is obviously in such dire need for help. And you just drive off? Fuck you. Are you serious? Like, come on. And then I love how the gore looks when Erin's hacking off Leatherface's hand when he's holding the chainsaw, and she just starts hacking away at it, and it falls to the ground with the chainsaw in it. Awesome stuff. And I also love how Erin pretty much becomes the girl from the beginning at the end of this, when the truck driver picks her up. And she's just traumatized. Then when she sees that they're going in the direction back to the where Leatherface is at, in the meatpacking plant and stuff, and she just, oh, you're going the wrong way, and she tries steering the wheel and stuff, just like in the beginning. I love that, how they like wrap that around and make her pretty much just like the girl from the beginning. Really, really cool stuff how they did that. Then we have Erin running over the sheriff multiple times, which is so satisfying to see. Just to see this motherfucker finally just die and get what he deserves. He deserves so much worse. This guy deserves so much worse. He deserves being tortured for like 3 months on end, every day, 24/7, in some just isolated fucking bunker somewhere, and just like just chopping him in pieces, bit by bit, every day, and then like feeding it to a wild dog. That's what this guy deserves. Like, are you serious? After everything that we've seen him do in this movie, and all the past victims and stuff that we know he's responsible for, and Leatherface and their whole family and stuff, the whole family deserves so much hell brought down upon them for what they've done to all their victims in the past. But just the sheriff alone, for what we see him do in this movie, absolutely deserves so much worse than being run over by a car 3 times. Absolutely. And I like how she has the baby in the car when she's driving off in the sheriff's car. What she does with that baby afterwards, your guess is as good as mine. I mean, drops it off at a fire department or something like that. Maybe. Or like try to track down, I don't know how she would track down like whose kid that is. Bring it to the cops is the only thing you can really do, and then have them put it in the system, which sucks, for that baby, man. I mean, I feel so bad for that baby. Like, that is not the life that that baby deserved in any way. Then with just the ending, with the showing from like in the beginning, with the cops going through the crime scene, and then they get killed by Leatherface, and then just the still image, and this is the only known image of Thomas Hewitt, and the case remains open to this day. Awesome. Like, such a great remake. Like, one of my favorite remakes from the 2000s forward. Evil Dead, Maniac 2012 with Elijah Wood, this movie, and the Suspiria remake. Like, those are my top remakes from the 2000s onwards. Like, 100%. Which I already did the Evil Dead remake. I'll definitely be doing Suspiria sometime this month, because I still have a few Argento things to cover before I close the book on him. And I did the Maniac remake too. So two of my favorite remakes of the 2000s forward are covered. 3 now. So now it's just the other one I mentioned. I'm so exhausted. But such a great remake, such a great movie, and such an iconic fucking franchise. But like I said, never was a huge fan of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre series, besides this movie and the original and part 2 being my favorite. Besides that, they're all very hit or miss for me. But this is a little longer than I wanted it to be. But alright guys, wherever you're from, hope you're having a good day, good night. I'm going to pass out, and I will have some stuff up tomorrow. Alright, take care.